FIX13. Um, I wish that wouldn't carry over. Okay, so, um, father-in-law got into a car accident, the other day, and not a car accident, you know how there's, the concrete center divide, he just, he misjudged his turn and, kind of drove over that and then, was having a hard time driving to work, kind of thing. So, cop pulled him over at some point, told him, you got a flat tire, right? Um, that was pretty much the end of that part of the story, that I got to hear. So anyway, father-in-law woke up to go to the bathroom last night, and my mother-in-law started texting me at 4:11 in the morning that, um, that he was trying, that he was, it's so dark in their house that, he was trying to find the door to the bathroom and ended up going to the, um, air conditioner door instead. I don't know. Anyway, so she's totally freaking me out. So if I feel, if I'm a little off, that's why. Um, anyway, he needs prayers. Yeah, and he sounds like he's coming down with a really bad cold. I don't know, maybe that's just his new voice, but he sounds like, like how some older people, their voice gets like more gravelly or more deeper or something like that. Yeah, it could be that kind of thing, but it doesn't normally sound like that, so I don't know what's going on and it's bugging me and I'm one of those people that, if I can, I'd like to try to fix it. But I can't do anything, so I feel helpless. Anyway, so he needs prayers. Um, but see, I was saying that on my Disneyland video, but you can't stop it. I mean, you can't end a Disneyland video with a sadness. So we went to the Minecraft Disney World file and went on that for a little bit and watched the fireworks. I wish I could do that level of fireworks. That'd be awesome. But I'm doing the um I would say amateur expert. So we figured out something, or may have figured out something. Um, I'm gonna go and take these and take the redstone out from under them, and then put in the regular road. It's gonna look weird, but hopefully it won't be like a. It feels like a redstone on redstone thing. So maybe they won't light up before they're supposed to. Oh, and please, if anybody's a prayer out there, um, my sister's dad needs prayers too. Oh yeah, see that's the whole thing. Um, so I wasn't too worried about her dad. You know, he's in the hand. You know, he was in the hands of doctors. It was good, but then she told me this morning that he's been seeing a little black boy and that he's worried that he's gonna run him over with his oh, how'd she put it? I can't remember. I know what it is. It's just oh, with a semi. You know, like he wasn't gonna be able to stop quick enough to not run the kid over. Well, last I heard, he's still in San Francisco in a hospital bed, but he's I don't know if he got to go home already or not, but before Grandpa went, guess who he was seeing? The little black boy. And there's more to that story. I don't know if it's the same person, but it probably is. Um, see, I don't know if it's the same person, but there was this, okay, so we were, doing vacation Bible school, and I was one of the helpers. Um, I like vacation Bible school. It's awesome. It's just you know, it's something for the kids to do in the summertime for one, but two, they get to learn about God and you know, they may not know him already and you know, they get to learn about him. So, anyway, it's really cool. But the thing is that this little black boy, he was part of a family that lived on Alaska Avenue, which is right around the corner from the church on Pennsylvania Avenue. Uh, wait, was it Alaska Avenue? I think it was. Weird. Because, you know, because Pennsylvania Avenue, that was, you know, like an actual avenue, you know, like a big old long street. But Alaska wasn't really. But anyway, um, I mean, they're both streets are still there, so I can't say was like, you know, before in the past, you know, kind of thing. But anyway, so one night he, you know, the little guy, he kind of looked like he wanted to go and accept Jesus into his heart. And I know I'm trying kind of turning this into a church thing, but that's not what it's meant to do. I mean, it kind of is, but not really. Um, anyway, the thing is that, you know, I was like, "Do you want to go up there?" He's like, "Yeah." You know, he nodded his head. I'm like, "Okay, you want me to go with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." You know, nodding his head again. And he might have said yeah, but I remember the nod of the head. Anyway, so he got saved, and there's a reason why I'm telling this story. Hold on. um, you know, don't walk away yet. Um, anyway, so he got saved, and about a week later, he got run over by a car and wasn't alive anymore. Then, fast forward to 2016, because that was definitely before I had a daughter. That was when I was like 22, I think. So that might have been the year 2000. Um, anyway, I might have been younger than that, actually. But anyway, his dad made for dang sure that they put up a barrier. So, a fence. I think it's a fence. Cause you used to be able to go up the street, um, on the sidewalk, but you used to be able to go up the street and you used to be able to go up the street and there's a big grocery store there, and like, it was a better time, probably. So you could send your kid to the store with um milk or something. I mean, to go get milk or something, and it was perfectly safe. Or, well, it probably wasn't perfectly safe because that was when it was when a lot of girls were getting kidnapped. But they sent their sons. So, but anyway, you know the the best way I can describe him is a little black boy. And then fast forward to like 2016, I think it was, might have been 2014 or something like that. But um, anyway, a few of our um, a few of our um, family died in that you know time span between like 26. Yeah, I want to say 2016. Anyway, and 2018. It was not okay. But I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't okay. You know. So anyway, Grandpa or Grandma has already passed away. They had to lie to Grandpa and tell him. I mean, yeah, and tell him that uh, she's at a grand resort or something like that, and there's no telephone there. Because she's up in heaven. So that's what they told Grandpa. But anyway, he started seeing a little black boy around the house. It's one of those double wide trailers, but anyway, started seeing the little black boy around the house, and nobody else could see him. Um, Mom said that he'd say, who's that kid over there? Or who's that little black boy over there? Something like that. Um, and then Grandpa passed away, and then nobody saw the little black boy after that. So I'm thinking he was an angel, and he just might be that same kid that got ran over years ago. Um, so then my sister said that her dad saw that same kid, possibly the same kid, and I freaked out because my father-in-law is doing that's his. He's been having a lot of accidents with driving. So I think he'd be just fine if he'd give up the reins and just, let somebody else drive him to work. I mean, because his work is he works at the Nugget. He's the betting table, where, like, if you want to bet on the football game or if you want to bet on horse race, you can go see him, and he'll set it up for you. And um, they said some lady turned like $40 into $600 and something dollars because she bet on the horse that nobody thought would win. And there was a thing recently. Okay, so father-in-law has not been seeing a little black boy around the house, so I don't think we have to worry so much about him. But my sister's dad was seeing, or was talking about, seeing a little black boy, and that he was worried that he was going to run him over with this semi truck. Um, I don't know when this conversation happened, but it freaked me out even more. But yeah, so that's why I sound a little distracted, a little off. You know, mother-in-law started texting me at 4:30. I mean, 4. I think 4:11. Let's check. I don't want to be giving you wrong information. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, 4:11. Oh, that's pretty cool. No, must have. Yeah, 4:11. Oh, that must have been from the other day. Okay, and then that was 7 p.m. Yeah. So she started calling at 4:11, and um, somewhere in the 6 o'clock hour, she she stopped texting. So that's good, but she's just worried about her husband. And oh yeah, and that was the other thing. My sister got me worried that maybe father-in-law had um because of something she said. Apparently you can have a little heart attack and or stroke and not know it. Um, I think that if you have a little heart attack or stroke and don't know it, that you probably weren't paying attention to your body. I wasn't trying to make this all depressing though. But but I am worried. Um, I'm worried for Brian. He used to be my stepdad. That's my sister's dad. She's probably gonna get upset that I said his name. But I'm worried for him. Because he's someone I know, and he's a human being. And then I'm worried for my father-in-law because, well, for two things. Okay, first of all, um, it's gonna sound horrible, but first of all, if he goes, then we're going to, have to be taking care of my mother-in-law, and yeah, don't know if I want to, don't know if I'm prepared for that yet. But he's a human, and he just he doesn't sound really great right now, but it could be like changing the weather kind of thing. I don't know. But anyway, so that's why I sound a little weird. We're trying to get this done today, if we can, because I think if we can go and change under those detector rails, that maybe it'll work right and it'll be just fine. So then we can work on that too. Well, I got a bunch of my sister's Star Path done yesterday, and a little bit of a Tiana and Lumiere thing. Uh, Tiana Lumiere quest. I got really confused because I was doing the quest and then it like wasn't showing it anywhere. So I was really confused. What happened? So what? Okay, could you explain in English for people who were not in the kitchen at the time? Ah, okay. No. So we haven't even had most of our spatulas that long. But then all of a sudden you go and try to use them to flip over the dang pancake or or do whatever you're doing to cook and it just goes snap. So if maybe the spatula makers out there could stop making spatulas so fragile, that would very much help. And if you would make them in different lengths, because there are short people out there who do not appreciate.
It was a dollar store special.
Oh, okay. So it was a dollar store special. That's how he said it. And, it's the one that you buy from the dollar store, so it's like less than $5. I really think that they ought to have to change their name from dollar store because everything used to be a dollar or less. I really think that they ought to have to change their name. I mean, it's not dollar store, it's Dollar Tree, but anyway, they'd have to change it. And Dollar General shouldn't really be Dollar General either because, well, I mean, I guess Dollar General could mean that that it costs dollars to buy stuff there. But anyway, the mat that we got Bobby was like $10 as an example. Although they're little you know how stores have the little children's size cereal bowl? Those are actually a dollar. And they've got the brisk tea in a like not a 20 ounce, I think it's more than that, but anyway, in a bottle that is pretty big. We need to go back there and buy some. Anyway, oh, and that's the other thing. I wanted to go and buy this, if we could. I wanted to go and buy this house that is right behind my in laws because that way, if her computer breaks down, my husband can go and walk over there and, you know, every few hours I can go over there and take their dog for a walk so he can go outside. I mean, first of all, he needs fresh air, but um, second of all, they go and wait until he's like full to bursting before they take him out for a walk to do what you need to do when you go out for a walk when you're a dog. You know. The only thing is that I don't like their neighborhood. Uh, with when it's noisy with dogs. I don't like it. Um, and it's down the street from Target, which is a big hill if you have to walk. Anyway, Um, but they're nice houses. We'd probably have to add a dishwasher and some other stuff, but the problem is I thought it was only 330,000 because that's what one of the houses on that street is, but it's not like listed officially for sale at this time. But there's another house, the one that I was actually looking at, that is like 450,000. It's ridiculous. Of course, I've got, like we can afford 1,200 every, 1,200 every month for the mortgage, but we don't have enough to put down to make that happen. Anyway, so I don't know what we're gonna do. Um, I mean, I would very much like people to start buying my books, or well, okay, not or. I would really like people to start buying my books and get us up to 3,000 um valid public watch hours, and then get us up to 4,000 valid public watch hours.
Since you're not bothering to
Thank
do
you.
that when you hear the sizzle die down.
I didn't. Um, do we have syrup?
Well, the remnants of. Yeah, that too.
That's my point. He made pancakes. Okay. Still trying to eat a lot of it. Saving some for him. I mean, I don't think there's enough that. Did you eat yours already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm putting the next.
Okay. He ate his already. Ugh. Anyway. So, yeah, that's what's been going on in our house. Well, our, family. Um, I'm like really worried for people. But yeah, we're trying to get this finished today. Trying to get more of my sister's file done Can you turn that down a little? Thank you. My husband likes listening to those drama stories on. I, I think it's drama. Um, those stories that people make on YouTube where like yesterday it was the dad and the kid and he had adopted some kids, but then his wife got cancer, and so he wasn't really acting like a dad. I mean, he had been before, but he wasn't really acting like a dad, after she passed away because, like he didn't really know how to act without her kind of thing. Anyway, but then he like hired a nanny and he ended up well, I guess she was a nanny. Anyway, he kind of hired a nanny and they eventually fell in love and then it was all good. But the kids had like um issues like the son never talked to anybody about his problems or about how he felt or whatever. And the older daughter, had like learned to shut people out and like she's an artist, so like she went and drew everything in art. She put all her feelings into her art. So um but also the son had a problem with being second. um he had he had made the classic volcano for the science fair project, and this other kid had made a bigger one. So his got second, and the big volcano got first. And he was having a problem with that. It's um, I know I use Disney uh, movies or TV shows as an example sometimes, but it's kind of like Lizzie McGuire was saying, "It's a bee," So then she went and said, uh, she was like coming up with B words that meant that were like blah, second place, stuff like that. He was kind of going like that, and then I think the nanny's name was Emily. We'll just go with that. No, it was Elena. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we'll call her Elena. I have no idea. I'm thinking that her name was Elena because I remember thinking that's the name of the character in my book. So anyway, he was listening to that yesterday, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to it, but I have to listen to it because we're both in the living room.
Hey, who said the dog could sleep on the bed? Dang. Lazy furball, some guard dog you are.
Okay, so husband's playing GTA. That'll lighten the mood. Husband's playing GTA, and he's got one of the mansions, And
I own all three.
oh, he owns all three. Excuse me. I still need to save up and get my character a mansion.
15 million. Low ball.
Apparently the cheapest mansion is 15 million. Or
With the upgrades you're gonna put into it anyway, dude.
15 million and then the upgrades. I don't know. He's talking like with the upgrades, 15 million. But anyway, I need to buy one. Problem is, I like my little, I like my little, I don't like buying, having an apartment in real life because they're small. They're little small, not to scale. As, who said that?
What?
That was a,
Small, not to scale?
yeah.
That was, oh, I can't think of his name right now, but he was talking to Sammy Davis Jr. at the time.
Oh, yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I can't remember his name either. But he was,
No, not Jamie Farr.
no,
Was it?
no.
No. The name Jamie Farr
You're
came up.
talking about rosary beads.
Yes,
I
Rosary
mean,
Beats.
rosary bleeds. That was the line. I can't think of his name. But, he liked Italian stuff,
Full of people.
or he either liked Italian stuff or he was Italian. And he sings, and I can't for the life of me think of his name. Anyway, and it was on a movie called Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Um, it might be on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
No, I'm saying it might be on YouTube because sometimes I know more about that than you do.
Oh, obviously. You know everything.
You know what? Why don't we just settle the argument and look it up right now? Oh, this story he's listening to is set in California, or at least they're talking about yes. No, Cannonball Run 2 is on.
Okay. We was in that one too.
Cannonball 1 is not. Cannonball Run is number 1 is not. Oh, it's got Jackie Chan in it too. I forgot about that. So it's got Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise and um um Jackie Chan and Roger Moore, and Roger Moore was one of the James Bonds. Um oh, it's got that chick and I don't know her name. Um I can't remember her name. I should be nice and say that actress. But the part that she was playing was mostly good, except for when she said that she likes to kiss under trees. I think it was under trees. Um, I don't think I would. I don't think even if I had the opportunity and everything was all concealed so nobody could see us. I don't think I would like to do that under a tree because there's ants in trees, or at least there is sometimes ants in trees. I know. they always show ants on TV shows and movies where it says ant hill. Well, it's not always like that. They're also sometimes in trees. So oh, what was that? I want to say it was Duke's Hazard. Not entirely sure, but I think it was Duke's Hazard. Um, because I'm getting like this image in my head where um Enos was reading a book or something, um, and the Dukes had tied the guys to the trees. Maybe it might have been Briscoe County Jr. also. The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. But somebody had, okay, so whichever show it was, um, the two bad guys have been tied to trees, and the other guy is sitting there. I want to say reading a book, but I'm not sure. And and I think I'm taking the tree out from the wrong side. I am. Okay, so let's get on this side. Anyway, I want to say that I want to say that the person was reading a book, maybe eating an apple. I think my brain's filling in pieces from different shows, but it that could be what was happening. Anyway, and they say, the bad guys say something about, oh my gosh, the ants are getting me. I got ants in my pants, and then all of a sudden, uh, they're allowed to be untied so they can, not be tortured by the ants, but if I remember correctly, they get away. So I'm gonna have to figure out what that is. Oh, I can't remember. Cause if it was, I'm just saying, if it was like Briscoe, he would have said, "Yeah, right," and not untied them. And if it would have been, Lord Bowler, his partner, he wouldn't have let them go. But I think it was Enos from Jigsaw Hazard. I just don't remember. I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you that, like 10 years ago, so. Of course, I might not have remembered that 10 years ago, so. So I think it's weird that Disneyland lets you in at 8 or 9 o'clock. I think it's 8 o'clock. Um, they let you in at 8 o'clock, but they will not let you go past Main Street. Um, like like the very last building. You can go up about to there, I think it is, and you gotta stay there until 9. And then everybody thinks you gotta scramble to the really good rides or scramble to whatever ride you want to ride. So you can, yeah, Anyway, so you can write it because you can't write it any other time of day because it's gonna have too long a line. But people that go and make those videos that tell you whether you're gonna be able to, um, that tell you whether you're gonna be able to ride the ride that day or not, are the ones that are creating panic because they're saying, "Oh, if it's a 2 hour ride, it's bad." Well, okay, 2 hour rides aren't. I mean, the line being 2 hours. Sorry. Um, they're always saying that's bad. Go to some other ride. Well, why is it a 2 hour ride? Because everybody got the same idea at the same time. We won't write it now, but we'll write it later. So then it's a 2 hour ride. But then they're also not taking into account, okay, this particular ride holds, say, 20 people at a time. So it's going to go pretty fast, even if it is a 2 hour line. And this one only holds 2 to 4 people at a time, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. So if it was 2 hours, okay, if that was 2 hours, that would be awesome because then maybe Disney would want to keep it. I would be very sad if they took out Mr. Toad's Wild Ride from Disneyland. I would be very upset and, you know, um, maybe, yelling about it. I mean, even if they put in, like, uh, you know, like, say they put in, the Frozen ride where Mr. Toad's was. Even if they did that, I think I would still be mad. Or if they came up with like a Tangled ride, or if they brought some kind of Little Mermaid ride. They've got a really good looking Little Mermaid ride in Disney World. Or not Disney World, sorry. Um, Disney California Adventure. They've got a good mermaid ride, so if they wanted to bring that to Disneyland, it would be okay. But there's not enough room in Fantasyland because Fantasyland's kind of in the middle of everything. I don't know how they did that. Because it's like they came up with Frontierland and Main Street, before everything else, I think, because I remember seeing videos of the supposedly lame duck train ride. I'm always like, like maybe they could come up with one of those like you used to be able to sit you were like pretty much sitting in a box, but it was an arcade game. A lot some of the driving games do that, where they have, like the ambient sounds and they have the ambient sounds and you feel like you're really in the race. They could do something like that and have the seat move around, like you were in the original ride. But apparently it was so mild that people were going, I want a thrill ride, you know? Like, yeah, they were probably wanting something like, um, like Scrambler level or Tilt-A-Whirl or something like that. And then, of course, they can't do that because it's Disney. They have to adapt everything to a Disney theme. So it's like, how do we do this? And anyway, so they came up with Big Thunder Mountain and the Matterhorn. In fact, they came up with the Matterhorn and the submarine voyage um, in the same year or something like that. Anyway, they both came out in the same year because they were celebrating them both at the same time. It was really cool. They had it was a Disney special. I wasn't actually there, but it was that was before I was born. But anyway, they had this big uh I guess stage, but it was all made out of ice and it was like probably 5 feet up in I mean, the top of it was like 5 feet up in the air, maybe more, but I want to say it was like 5 feet up in the air, and then some guy was ice skating on it, and he wasn't just skating around in circles. I think he was doing flips and tricks and stuff. So anyway, um, like I would like them to come up with like a Yesterland, but for one of the rides, make it safer somehow. Um, without screens. I don't like the screens. Yeah, you're still immersed in whatever ride it is, but it's not the same as having animatronics there. Even if they're just, well, like, even if Tweedledee and Tweedledum are just standing there, like I think they were doing before, even if it was that, it would be better than the screens. Like if I want to watch a movie, I'll go to a movie theater. I want to, I like the idea of being I like the idea of being immersed in the ride, in the story. And I don't like the screens. Hey, hi Bobby. You don't need pancakes. Nope, you don't need pancakes. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I came up with the idea that maybe if we take if we take this out and we put this in and then put this back in, that way you're not connecting this to that, to the redstone brick. And I think it'll work. Hi, babe. Are you okay? She loses her balance so easily. Okay. So, so I'm still trying to finish this. It's gonna take forever. Or at least it's gonna feel like forever, you know? Like, I like the song First Time in Forever, but, you know, forever is supposed to be like it's not gonna, um, um, it's like supposed to be, forever is forever, um, not you get annoyed at your spouse in a few months and call it quits, it's supposed to be forever, until death do you part, sorry, that was the best example I could come up with. Um, anyway, that's what it's supposed to be. And if I happen to help somebody along the way here with that analogy, then that would be great. um, like, well, okay, that brought me into, you know, talk to your person. Oh, 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 I'm sorry. Yeah, made you lose your balance. I'm sorry. You still don't need pancakes. No, no, no. Back up. You don't need pancakes. You may be one of the only two that cuddles with me, but you do not need pancakes. Ben stopped cuddling with me as soon as I got my glasses. Actually, Ben just stopped cuddling with me. Um, and like he kind of thought that Coral was his mom or his girlfriend or something. 'Cause they were all 2 years apart. So he kind of thought of Coral as like his mom or something. And then, she passed away at home. And, at least she passed away at home. We finally had a cat that passed away at home. um, the others, we knew that they were, you know, having issues because, um, they came to us with the issues. We should have written them down, and and we knew we weren't going to be able to help though, because, it's like, okay, if your cat's on this special diet, they can live longer, but it's just pretty much um it's pretty much um avoiding the inevitable, avoiding what you know is going to happen. So, anyway, we took the other two to the kitty doctor and had them put to sleep. And, that's something that I don't like is that some people say that the animal got
Hello.
put like asleep, and it's like there's two sleep.
Not a whole lot. As far as I know. Yes.
Liar.
No.
Um.
No need to.
Anyway, there's like two sleep, which means that they're not coming back, and then there's your dog is asleep. It just means you're
Did you get on the
sleeping.
computer? Do you have Discord on your computer? Discord. The program. Thingamajig for talking to Sue. Do you have it on the phone? Do you have the program on the phone? Do you have Discord on the phone?
Cell phone.
Okay. Oh, well, then keep an eye out. Oh, that's a good place for them, Mom. Put them back in your ear.
Why would you call somebody without your ears in?
Well, in that case, keep an eye on your regular text messages, okay? Keep an eye on your text messages. Okay. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.
Why would you call somebody if you don't have your ears in?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Mother-in-law is weird sometimes. And you don't know that. Hello?
He made it.
You don't know that.
I'm certain of it. Just have a feeling.
You don't know that.
Because you doomsayers seem to think otherwise.
Well, he has had an awful lot of accidents lately. Not lately. There's usually some time between them, but, still. Okay. What's that? Okay. Um, Yeah, the only problem is that I've got to do some star path for my sister too. I swear it's taking a lot shorter time to get um it's taking a lot shorter time to get some of that stuff done on hers, and it's weird because I've got more stuff than she does. Oh, come here. No, come here. Come here. Just you can be in the chair in my lap and get petted. Yeah. Seriously, don't come over and say, pet me, if you don't want to be petted. You silly? She keeps doing that to us. Well, it's not just us. She did that to my sister too. Um, she must have been like really stressed. 'Cause she has two doggy sisters, and she's got two doggy sisters, and one of them kept trying to jump on her head. So, but my sister said that she's been sassy like that forever, and I told her that you can't be sassy here. Well, I did. Yeah, I told stories about you. Yeah, I told stories about you. You silly. You're a good girl. You be careful, don't need. Yeah, you be careful. Oh, okay, that's falling apart already. That's horrible. Okay, so sometime in February, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but we got this cute little heart harness. Oh, that must have been last year. I mean, this year, because last year we didn't get her until March, so it makes sense. Okay, so anyway, we got her this cute little harness. It's got a checker pattern on it, pink and white. It's not as cute as the one that I wanted to get her with the little hearts on it, but that was for a smaller cat. I didn't, realize what size she was compared to the harness. So, anyway, we got her this cute little harness, and um, and I think it was around Christmas time. They were having, they had people, um, they had people at Costco that were making little, dog bone shaped tags for people's pets, and so they all have a little tag on them that says, or at least on their harness, because the only time the boys go out is when they're on leash. So anyway, everybody's got their own little tag that says their name, and if we ever take them out, then people will be able to see what their name is. Yeah, they're drama stories. Anyway, so the idea today. Oh, I got the litter boxes done yesterday. um, I don't know what I say on each video. It's just whatever pops in my head at the time. But I'm pretty sure at one point yesterday I said that I need to get the litter boxes done and get the rest of my star path done and start my sisters and oh no, I didn't need to get my star path done. I needed to get the last two quests for the new characters done. That's what it was. Anyway, so I gotta do all that for my sister too. But on the list yesterday was uh getting that done, getting more of this done, and helping out my sister. But my sister is a different stream, so my sister's a whole different stream. Um, I found out that I can make the video here, and she gets it there, and then she can post it to YouTube. So I'm suddenly wondering, can you make pancakes? Can you make pancakes that have the um can you make pancakes that have the syrup already in them? I mean, usually you have somebody make pancakes and then, or you make them yourself, and then you put the pancakes on after they're done. But Bobby,
What you doing, kitty?
she's
Yeah?
just sniffing the DVDs. You be careful about that one that's standing by itself. That one. Be
Aw,
careful
sweetie.
about that one. I'm just saying it might try to jump on your head. So, oh yeah, so I had the two quests for the two new characters we got in Dreamlight Valley. And then I was supposed to work on my story, but I couldn't get myself to do it. It's like, it's like something inside me says, playing that game's so much easier, so we'll go do that. I've got a game on my phone I love to play. Actually, I have more than one. Um, Hi, you keep coming back. You are a very wishy-washy kitty. She is very wishy-washy. She'll go and tell you, she'll meow at you and say that she wants to be petted, and then all of a sudden, like if I didn't know any better, I'd say she has um, can't think of the word. I can't think of it. Um, um, Bipolar. If I didn't know any better, I'd say she's bipolar because like she'll be like, "Oh, look, it's a person," and she'll tell them, "Pet me," with her little, with her little meow, and then as soon as they get over there and raise their hand to pet her, it's like, "Oh, hey, no, you ain't touching me." Yeah, telling stories about you again. She doesn't do that very often though anymore. She used to do it all the time. And I told my husband we just gotta get her to calm down. And we did. Well, I did. So sometimes she looks at my husband like, no. Just no. I got some weird kitties. I got some really smart kitties though. And if we have to go live in an apartment again. Oh, I found one. I found an apartment that's supposed to be only $900. Yeah, over on Imperial. I don't believe it said how many cats you can have. Um, yeah, so we may have to. Besides, if I did look it up, it would be $200 to set it up. Hey, it was $200 to get him as a service pet. Um, you you want one of the hardest you want one of the hardest things to try to do. Try getting an apartment here here in Carson City with 3 cats. That is very hard. I know one apartment that does have that, and we do not want to live there again. Anyway, I even got one of my one. No, I didn't get one. I got the one page pieced together. Um, you know, for the audio, and then I got a little bit of the next page done. I just didn't feel like working on it last night, and I don't know why. I was like, okay, this is when I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it after dinner. I'd been saying that all day, and then I just didn't feel like doing it. So hopefully that'll be different today. Um, because I want to get. I'm on page 20. I want to at least get to the end of the chapter today. If I can, I'd like to get to page 330. And then all I have to do is 6 more, and I'll be 100 pages away. And I'll be super happy. Um, thought we were, I thought we were at that point earlier, but apparently we weren't. I'm just saying, I wish Rick Riordan would come up with something to where, or, Rick Riordan, or, J.K. Rowling, or, Carolyn Keene, even, would come up with a story to go, on the YouTube stories. At least it would be a fictional story, and you could tell that it's fiction because J.K. would be writing about Harry Potter and Rick Riordan would be writing about something. He likes to do a fantasy adventure, so like he wrote the Percy Jackson books, but before that, I think he was the one that wrote The Woods Out Back. I might be wrong. No, 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 that was somebody with an S. Um, anyway, he's written a bunch of different books. No, yeah, I think that's somebody with the S. But anyway, The Woods Out Back was a good book too. But anyway, if at least if you're gonna put a story on YouTube, it doesn't have to all be drama. The one he's listening to right now is the wife died years ago, the dad kind of shut down, the daughter's trying to get help from while she's waitressing, big drama because somebody thinks drama's great. I don't happen to think drama's great. I just think I think it's better when everything's good and then you can find a magic tree house. Although those books are a good way to get your kid to learn something without knowing that they're learning something because you want to find out. I think they're Jack and Annie. Um, you know, they they write the uh I don't remember who writes those books, but unless that's Mary something. Unless it's Mary something. I think it is Mary something. Um, I just can't remember right now. I'll look it up in a minute. But anyway, she writes those books to where you want to find out what happens. You want to find out what Jack and Annie learned, and I think that's what was good about TV shows way back when is that they had those things where kids could learn something and have good entertainment, from the Smurfs and He-Man and Scooby Doo even. Looney Tunes was pretty much just there to be silly, but well, I'm sure if you wanted to go there, that you could learn not to put your finger in the end of a rifle. It's an Elmer Fudd thing. If you've never seen an episode of Looney Tunes, you would not understand. It's very possible that they're on YouTube, but I don't know. Then how is that other incident the last time he heard that engine?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. You got some inconsistency there.
Okay, so there's people that write these stories that go on YouTube, and they're good stories, except for that they say, like the one that he's listening to right now says, "That's the last time I heard that engine before the accident," and then he goes and says they turned it on one more time after that. Then the time before the accident wasn't the last time you heard it. It could be.
Can we
Uh,
back off after 4 seconds? Yeah, it's the last time you heard it.
Whatever.
Of any length of time.
No, that's not what he said. He said it was the last time he heard it, and then he's saying they turned it on later. So, yeah, it's like when I write my books, I go and try to make sure that stuff like that does not happen. That is why I listen to my story and then make sure that I know what's going on. Because I had a page somewhere in I want to say Lessons in Love where like say Sean's talking about Ashley. Um,
Your stories are perfect when you have Ashley's voice on something Sean's saying, and vice versa.
that's the first, and that's Esperanza's party. That doesn't count because that was before I got the rhythm down, and
I'm just gonna heckle these AI stories.
I haven't fixed it yet,
You're gonna
Heckler.
heckle these stories.
But anyway, it was Sean was talking about Ashley, and it was like using a Ashley voice instead of a Sean voice. I've done that a few times. Drives me crazy. But then it's also like the he's and she's get mixed up. It's like Sean talking about Ashley, but says he walked over to the store or whatever. And I'm like, oh man, did I really write that? So, but some of the problems, they get updated every single time I find a problem. Usually, I'll go and update it right there on uh, Amazon, and I'll put the new file in. I mean, the updated file in, and that's what you get to read is the updated file instead of the one with the problems. But that was only that specific problem where it's like say Sean talking Sean talking saying that he went to the store when he's talking about Ashley. That only happened in one book. For one for one page. I must have been tired or something. I don't know. But I go and try to keep continuity, not blowing it. Not messing up. So that's why I'm turning them into audios. So then I can go and listen to it later and go, okay, yeah, that sounds fine. That sounds fine. Oh, that doesn't. Okay, and, fix that real quick, and then, okay, that sounds fine. That sounds fine. Although, fixing it real quick is great on the you know paper, so to speak. But when you have to go and audio the whole chapter all over again, it's quite annoying. Well, depending on how long the chapter is, because if it's like 2 pages, then that should be fine. I personally like to have the chapter title on the right hand page. I like to have the chapter title on the right hand page, so there's that too. Like a regular book probably has them all on, I mean, has them wherever they landed. So it might be on the left side, it might be on the right side, but I like to have it on the right side. So there may be a blank page in there, but the reason is because I wanted the chapter title. I mean the that, like, say chapter 6, the thing that says chapter 6, the bunnies went everywhere. Um, I come up with the weirdest stuff. Anyway, the bunnies went everywhere. I like to have that on the right side, and then have the first page of that chapter, underneath it, and then if it ends up if the end of the chapter ends up on the left side, that's even better, because then you segue right into chapter 7, where we caught all the bunnies. Or hopefully we caught all the bunnies by chapter 7, uh, or in chapter 7. Um, I don't write bunny books, so. But if we had bunnies, they probably would go everywhere. You stay off that desk. Yeah, you can hang out up there. I don't know why, but she loves trying to go on the desk behind our chairs. And my DVD case is up there because we've been trying to go through the Nash Bridges series. And then we're probably going to go through Murder, She Wrote. Because there's a whole bunch of episodes that we have not seen. Or like have Murder, She Wrote and something else. If I've told my husband, if I get that job, I really, 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 really want to buy NCIS Los Angeles season 3, I think it is. Because at the end of season 2, Callan gets arrested, and I don't know if it's because of the way the um because of the way the show goes. I don't know if he got arrested, and um I mean, I know he got arrested, but I don't know if he like got sent to jail for Relios, and he's going to be there for 10, 20 years, whatever. Get off the desk. I just told you that. Sorry. Anyway, I don't know if it's one of those things where he really is going to jail, or if it's a or if it's like, there's somebody that he needs to talk to on the inside, and so they set it up so it looks like he went because he supposedly, I mean, he definitely shot. I think he definitely shot the guy, but I don't know. Like, I thought it was. I thought it was um, the thing where the guy that supposedly got killed, where he got shot, but he's still alive, but still Callan got arrested. So I may be making up stuff to make, because Callan's a good guy, supposedly. But could be, it could be like, like, I'm gonna call her Zeta because I don't remember how to pronounce her name right now. But we, during the first, no, wait, yeah, like during the first episode, um, they have a crossover. That's what it's called. It's called crossover. To introduce a new series, they have crossover between CIS with Gibbs, because I don't know what that is. But CIS with Gibbs and who was played by Mark Harmon. Anyway, um, CIS with Gibbs and CIS with Callan and Sam. And the whole thing is that, or yeah, part of the whole thing is that Zeta's definitely got some information about the bad guy, but why am I taking that out? Whatever. Yeah, this needs to be here. That doesn't. Ugh. To that person who was probably screaming that or yelling that into the phone or whatever you're watching this on. Thank you. I figured it out now. But anyway, they had a crossover episode where Zeta knew, uh, she knows the bad guy. Um, they were, um, he was unaliving the people in the sleeper cell, as they put it, um, and you just don't go around killing people in America, so NCIS got involved. But yeah. Anyway, you get to season. I'm pretty sure it's season 2, and all of a sudden, at the end of it, Kellen's getting arrested, and I have never seen what happens after that. It bugs me, you know. Um, so for a while there, we were buying whole series, whole series. Um, what do what did we get as a whole series? Oh, we got Murder She Wrote as a whole series. We got well, we definitely got, because there was only 25 episodes. We or was it 13? Something is 13 episodes and the other thing is 25. But anyway, we obviously got those as a series. Oh, we got the Dukes of Hazzard cartoon show called The Dukes as a um as a whole series. I think that's the one that's only 25 episodes. I want to say uh The New Adventures of Robin Hood was only 13 episodes. I really liked it, but I think it probably had too high a budget because there was a lot of stuff in there that was there was a lot of stuff in there that was magical, so it was more of a movie budget with a TV show, um with the money that a TV show can afford. So I don't think it worked as good as it was supposed to, but I loved that show. I wish there was more episodes, and actually I found out there were more episodes. It's just that um they were done in Britain, I think. And I'm like, I want to watch those. So I put them on my buy later list on Amazon, and maybe I'll get them at some point. But they're not going to have the same Robin Hood. And he's like, you know, a big part of, he's a big part of what made that show awesome. So, anyway, what else did we get? Oh, we got the Adams Family as a whole set. This was back when we were both working at Walmart and could afford more stuff. Um, okay. Anyway, yeah, there's like, Munsters. Um, Munsters was another show that we got all of the episodes for. Um, Alf. We got a whole bunch of different TV shows. That was ALF, Alf. So, oh, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman we got in 3 different parts. We got season 1, and then we got season 2, and then we got season 3. Or we got season 1 and 2, and then bought the whole series for 3. To get us 3. Something like that. Because I want to say that we bought it at Walmart, and then I want to say that we bought it at Walmart, and, um, the 1, 2, and 3. But maybe we just bought, individual Maybe we just bought the individual pieces. I don't remember. But yeah, we we had one disc of, or before we got married, I had one disc of the Dukes of Hazzard that I had not watched this one episode in it like 1,600 times. I'm exaggerating on the number, but like 1,600 times. So I've got to, like try to watch that episode like 1,600 times, and it wasn't working. So what we did was, it would like play. We got it to where it was playing a few seconds here and a few seconds there. Um, so we ended up just buying a new season 3, and it was all good. Because it's the episode where the General Wet Jackson.
What?
General Wet Jackson.
Andrew Jackson?
No, that he's always talking about.
I'm mostly listening to my video. What are you talking about?
Dukes of Hazzard, season 3, he's always talking about uh, General uh, General Jackson, but I can't remember his name.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Anyway, whatever his name is. Because I can't think of it right now. I want to say, I keep wanting to say General Lee Jackson, and that's not it. He's got a real name, and I can't think of. It's not Andrew. Anyway, they're always talking about him on the Dukes of Hazzard, and they're having a special day to they're having a special day to celebrate, and so his sword, the sword that he really had, is um is brought into town by the Duke boys. Well, the Duke boys don't know that Boss Hogg set them up. They had the real sword when they came in. He goes and, um, like he sneezes or drops his pen or something like that, and he's able to go and switch the sword that Luke brought in. Well, Bo and Luke brought in, but Luke was the one handling it. Um, he brought the sword in. So Boss goes and takes the one that he brought in and puts it in a holder under his desk. And he takes out the fake and puts the real one in the holder. Well, then he goes and says, "This is a fake," and makes a big scene out of it. And so I'm assuming everybody, I haven't watched that one so much, but for some reason, I decided I didn't like that one when our daughter was a baby, and I bought that. So I'm like, I don't want to watch it. So I watched the ones around it, and that's how it got screwed up. Discs are very fragile, but so's computer saved media too, because one little problem and it's gone. Like, you think that that external hard drive that you bought at, say, Walmart, um, is going to keep your stuff forever and ever. Doesn't necessarily work that way. We don't know though, because apparently it was gonna be like $400 to send the external hard drive in with another external hard drive. Um, and my husband's telling me that we probably, if we have that external, that we um probably could take it there and there wouldn't be much left of what was on that external. Well, that specific external had every single one of my stories on it. That's part of the problem. And then on top of that, um, on top of that, there's the issue of um, anyway, on top of that, I don't know if that external is even with us anymore. So I'm hoping that whoever got, like there's storage wars. Well, you don't know if the person that got your stuff is now watching it, or maybe, oh, these are great stories. Let's put it together in a story ourselves and making millions off of what you already wrote. I'm worried about it. Maybe it's still here and I just don't know it. But I haven't labeled any of them, so I wouldn't know. But the problem is that I usually leave them, I leave them plugged into my computer because I need that. I don't think that's very good with the ones that we were getting. So, so what is this? A biker family?
Yeah, something like that. If
I'm
you
sorry.
actually want to listen to it, I'll play it again. But otherwise,
No.
they named the bike Hector
Why?
because that's what the wife named the bike.
Oh, okay.
The deceased wife, but the
Yeah, I
future
heard
wife.
that. Said it was a drama story.
They're all drama stories.
Not all of them. Well, yeah, I guess all of them. Never mind. Because there's a story on YouTube somewhere where it's two little girls hanging out at McDonald's because they think they can get money from people. And if they don't get money, then something else happens. And, um, anyway, so it's Keanu Reeves just happened to be in McDonald's. Now, I don't doubt that Keanu Reeves would be, if he's as nice as everybody says he is, and I've got no reason to doubt it, I could totally see Keanu Reeves maybe eating at McDonald's. But I could also see like little kids going, "Hey, you're Keanu Reeves! Oh my goodness!" and bugging him.
Oh, that's right.
But when you're as rich as he might be, you can afford your own McDonald's. Like on Richie Rich, they had their own McDonald's in the in the mansion. The mansion was like, a New York block long, and anyway, they had McDonald's in there. So when he finally has friends to play with, it's like, you've got your own McDonald's? And, of course, it's the overweight kid asking, but, but he's like, yeah, you know. So I think that's where they went for, that's where they went for food instead of, Cadbury's stuffy, go to the dining room and have food thing. Um, I think it was, uh, the Cadbury was talking about some really fancy food with consomme, stuff like that, and the mom, it's the mom of the female friend, and then there's two guy friends to go with her. Uh, truth. I want to say two, but it might have been three. Anyway, there were some guy friends too. Um, so, um, Cadbury goes, this is what I came up with, but, Master Richie, it's probably Master Richie, said that his friends deserved a break today. Something like that. And then that's when they go to McDonald's. It was so cool. Hi. How are you? Hey. Hello. Yes, Bobby was here. Mm. How are you? Not talking, huh? Yeah. He usually meows like, fine. Huh. Usually meow to say, fine. Yeah. I'm starting to think that maybe it's the carbonation in sodas that is making people overweight. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I think adding bubbles to things is probably bad. But on the other hand, it makes you burp to get the gas out, so I don't know. I was just thinking that just now. 'Cause I miss my tiki punch. I drank two of them yesterday. Okay, so it's a little 4-pack. Full size soda, full size cans. But you gonna ditch me?
What a kitty cat.
He just hopped down to ditch me. Oh my
Little brat
goodness.
cat.
Yeah, he'll be back. So yesterday, yesterday I was talking about this earlier. But yesterday I had a few things on my list to do and work on my story and um work on my story and um do the litter boxes and do the video game stuffs, which included doing the last two quests um for the two new characters on Dreamlight Valley. But I also had to do golf with your friends and Pac-Man museum yesterday. I was gonna leave it at Pac-Man and because that's what I've been playing. Um, I tried to play some of the others and they don't make enough sense to me, so I can't do them. Oh, I should have done Ninja Turtles yesterday. I really only downloaded Ninja Turtles so I could, have another Game Pass game to play when once a month you have to do 8 Game Pass games and four Game Pass games and then another four to make it 8. But they have to be on Game Pass. So um so I'd rather be able to record everything. So I made sure that I had I think I have 6 or 7 games that are definitely on Game Pass, and then and, um, and then the other ones I'll have to do off stream. Like Minecraft preview. Minecraft preview, it will not let you record it. I think, actually, I know that for a little while there, um, Waddles was definitely recording it somehow. I don't know if it's like OBS Studio is like, you can record this and I don't care, or what, but I know that he was using it because he'd say, we're having a Minecraft preview day or something like that. And then, what is that child doing?
I don't know.
Can you find out?
In a moment I can.
I don't know, it just sounds like he's, we don't have any of those in the house that I know of, but it sounds like he's playing with a paper bag.
What are you doing, Furbo? He says he's meowing.
Actually, I think that was more along the lines of, I wasn't doing anything bad, Mom. Honest.
Yeah. And you're in my nose. Why? So you may not have my hot chocolate. It's empty. Ball.
Sam is the king of extreme close up.
Sam.
Sam,
Samuel.
what's he doing?
Sniffing.
Sam, settle.
Thank you.
So yesterday, I don't know. I don't think he can find his brother or something like that because he comes into the living room frantically meowing. And I did not know what he was trying to tell me. Because the litter boxes had been done by that time. Oh, yeah, that's why I was telling you about that again. Is that he goes into the litter box and sneezes. So I know that when that happens, yeah, I get to the litter boxes. So I made sure to do all three of them. I started with the top, with the upstairs one because it was kind of hot in that, kind of hot in the house. So I did that one first and had some music on, so I would actually do it. And then we did the two downstairs ones. Anyway, then we did the two downstairs ones, and it was like, okay. Anyway, there's been more than one story where it was, um, wait, yeah, this is the. There's been more than one story where it was, um, they said something and then they said something to contradict that. And it's driving me crazy. Oh, man. Pookies. Okay. Oh, wait. No, I need that. No. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as I have one. It's all good, but. Okay, I had this all. Oh, it's probably that coarse dirt that's being annoying. Yeah. Cause see, and then.
My next project is to rescue a kitty cat.
Huh?
Playing the firefighter missions. One of them is to rescue a cat.
Where'd you get that from?
It's on GTA. It's one of the new update items.
Oh, you didn't tell
Got
me.
a bit ago. The cat one's kind of a pain though.
Why?
The cat typically likes to jump from high places and go splat, shaking the faith of the world that cats land on their feet every time.
Well, good, because that is a stupid rumor. Apparently there's a new GTA mission where
Not new. It's been a while, but
okay, it's been a while, but anyway, firefighter missions and they um they have a cat on there. Okay, there we go. They have a cat on there that likes to jump from high places and it's oh, that's what the problem is. Okay. Anyway, they like to jump from high places, and then the problem is that they go splat, and the cat is no more. And obviously, it was written by dog people. But they are shaking the faith that cats always land on their feet. It's not true.
Come on. Pick up the kitty cat.
Anyway, it's just not true. We actually have a cat that is Bobby. It has a very short tail, which is why her name is Bobby. I think it was shorter before when we first got her, and then like she was able to relax here, and I'm pretty sure it grew. It's still not as long as a cat tail's supposed to be, but I think it grew. Not too much, but longer than it was. Like they don't know if like her tail was supposed to be like that, or is it just like is her tail supposed to be like that, or did it get slammed in a door somewhere, or what the deal is? We don't know. Um, cause
Trying
I
to move out of the intersection I'm trying to get through.
cause I only know what my sister knows, and she's saying I don't know, so it works. So yesterday I was a little conflicted because it's like I'm doing my sister's stream, so what is okay on my sister's stream for doing an outro, and I think I just went with and I'll see you in the next stream or video. Um, I just I didn't say too much. I just said that they're in the middle of moving, so they're spending a week in Sacramento, and then they're moving to South Dakota. I think that's gonna be kind of weird for her because she's used to living in a much bigger state, California, and it's probably gonna be a little more. Um, it's probably gonna be different than what she's used to. Like I know for a fact when we moved here, it was like uh it was way different. Or like when we moved to Tahoe, Tahoe's only like South Lake Tahoe is only about 5 miles from one end to the other, and so it's not that big. I think it's got to be less than that actually, because we used to live on San Jose Avenue, so basically right there on the lake. We were 2 blocks away from it, but we used to live on San Jose Avenue, and it took me an hour to walk over to the casinos. And we only went to the casinos actually because behind one of them is some really nice waterfalls. They're probably man made, but they're pretty. So if it's man made, then it's probably more of a fountain. But still, it's pretty. So we would go over there, and there's the golf course, which we never went to either. But uh, we never went to that golf course. But I hear Michael Jordan did.
Change gears. Now I'm a forklift operator.
Now he's driving a forklift. He was driving a fire truck, and now he's driving a forklift. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Learning new missions.
Oh, that's the other thing on this GTA 5, right?
Last I checked.
Okay, so GTA 5 or GTA 5 Online, whatever you call it. Um, when I'm streaming, I just call it GTA 5. But there's the thing of you can drive the taxi if you want, and I don't know if the person who made the taxi mission just loved the idea of being in a taxi, so they want you to be in there all day or what, but my husband told me how to get out of that dumb vehicle, and it did not work on my file. So, literally, if I want to get out of the taxi, I've got to go and crash in the ocean.
It's because you're not hitting the buttons correctly.
That's not true. You told me to press a certain button. That's the one I pressed. I don't remember which one. Um, and that's what happened. I ended up having to crash it in the ocean.
You did it right.
Although I think the day that he was home and I did that, it was working just fine. But when I'm on my own, I always have to crash in the ocean. And, I'll be like, okay, before I even get in there, I'll be like, okay, what button do I need to press? And it doesn't work. Anyway, and it's like, it should be, I think it should be set up to where, like you um, pick up and drop off like 5, 10 people, and then you have a cooldown timer. And the only reason why I think that is because that is a tedious thing. You and you got to go not too fast and not too slow. I don't like that. Because usually they're like, get me there as fast as you can. So then you're fine. But there's sometimes when you're like taking them to the hospital, I think, and they're like, go slower. I don't know. I haven't done that one in a while because I don't like it. You know. So I may be remembering it wrong. But I know when you're doing the mission for the um you know this person is in the oil business or whatever, and he's a higher up in the company, something like that. So take him to the hospital, and you gotta go slow because he's gonna wake up if you don't, and he's gonna
Freak out.
freak out, jump out of the thing, and then you like totally lost a guy, and then there's an ambulance. And there should be an Amber Alert on there saying this guy got, you know,
Realize how constant the Amber Alerts on GTA Online would be?
no,
It'd be impossible to read because there'd be too many of them.
it'd be just an Amber Alert for your phone. It wouldn't go off on everybody's. When you're too dumb to drive slow so that guy doesn't jump out of the vehicle.
Why does it scare a meter?
So, uh, not last night, but the night before. Um, we were at Walmart with mother-in-law because, the remote's messing up, so it can't be the batteries. We got tons of batteries. Can't be the batteries. It has to be that the remote's stupid and we need a new DVD player. So, fine. Whatever. I don't know why he couldn't program a universal remote to work for both the TV and the
I
TV's.
thought it will work with their older model TV.
Yes, but universal remotes can also be working for the DVD player too. Which is what I was trying to say before you rudely interrupted me.
Yeah, because I didn't run electronics for more than 15 years, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I do know what I'm talking about because Dad did it. He had a universal remote that worked for everything
How long ago was that?
except for the cable box or whatever it was.
And no, I don't intend to show Mom and Dad the trick of using a cell phone either.
That's so mean. You realize how dead your mom's phone would be? Okay, so Samsungs can have the Samsung app, and I think you can get it on
Apples will do it too now.
yeah, okay. I think you can get it on the Apple too. I'm not saying the Apple with the number 2. I'm saying TOO. Anyway, there's a Samsung app that you can use as a remote for your uh you can use your phone as a remote control if you have a Samsung TV. Also, a feature that I love is because I don't know how to use the cell phone as a remote, but anyway, the feature that I love is if you've got Samsung TV, um, at least since we bought these TVs, so like 2022, 2023, I think.
7 series and above.
7 series and above. Okay, let's put it that way. Um, anyway, you can, as long as you got internet, you've got TV. Because it's a thing called Samsung TV Plus. Now, I wish that Samsung would be like, hey, she's promoting our product, let's pay her. But I don't know if that'll ever happen. It would be nice.
Actually, contact them and ask them, you know.
It'd be like super nice. But yeah, I just love Samsung products, except for the autocorrect because it's getting overly. Or the fact that my phone specifically, it's like, oh, you got a notification sound for that person that you're texting to? Oh, heck no. And just goes and turns it off. Or changes it back to what it should, and what it, the default sound. So I'm like, okay, it's default sound, whatever, it's an email. And I ignore it. Well, what if it was my sister saying, uh, saying something about her dad and we got to get there quick. What if it was that? And I personally think that, if we can, um, my husband's got like stuff that he has to have at work, I think, um, in the back seat. And then he's got stuff that he needs sometimes in the truck bed. Um,
Yeah, let's just announce that too. Great.
anyway, so they don't know where we live. Town, yes. Where we live? No. But anyway, he's got that stuff in there. So I think if we shove the stuff from the back seat into the other, that we could be able to go and pick them up and, you know, be there. If we had gas money.
I would make it happen one way or another.
Yeah, because I would want to be there for my sister. Definitely. Um, God willing, that's not going to happen though for a few years.
I don't know. The way you've been talking, he's on his last legs.
The way she's been talking. I just get the information she tells me, and then, I'd pass it on to you, and, oi. Anyway, relatives are falling apart. Now, as far as I know, Grandma is not, though, which is a very big comfort to me because, um, Grandma may be 90, but she's like a spry 90. It was so cute. They were dancing at her birthday party. Um, it was just a bunch of my aunt Vicky and my cousin Chelsea and grandma and her sister. Um, and I always thought they were twins because they look so much alike. Yeah, it turns out they're like 7 years apart. Um, I think that's what they said. Is like 7 years apart. And I'm like, really? I kind of always thought that Aunt Ruby was the older sister, and apparently she's not. But anyway, it was pretty. Yeah, it was really cool to see Grandma dancing, and there were some other people too, but I don't know them by name. So, um, and this one lady kept glaring at me like stop recording that. I'm like, I'm gonna record it. That's my grandma. You don't get to dictate what I do. I literally record like everything. Well, not people going to the bathroom, but like I record every little occasion in our lives. Like if there's Christmas, I'm gonna want to record that. Because lately I keep thinking of it this way. You never know when the person's not gonna be there anymore. So and people say laughter is the best medicine. Yeah, them having the dancing thing was making everybody laugh. So we were having a hard time because my dad's got all Apple products, except for the Samsung TV. It was still Samsung, right?
What? His TV? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Your dad's rocking a Samsung TV with an Apple box, which makes me laugh.
Oh yeah.
The Apple is built into it now.
What?
The Apple TV system is built into his Samsung. He just doesn't realize it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we kept telling Dad, Samsung TVs, they're the
Makes me
best.
laugh.
We kept telling him they're the best. They're awesome. The only thing that I don't like is that, the Got Talent shows and Masked Singer and all that stuff isn't on there, and it drives me crazy because that's something I really want to be able to watch, and that's the one thing that they don't have that I'd really like to watch. But they do have like the All Murder She Wrote channel. They have the All Nash Bridges channel. They have like 4 channels. I think it's 4 channels. It might only be 3, but 3 or 4 channels that have nothing but movies on them. They may not be ones that you want to watch at the time, but nothing but movies. Or you might love every single one of those movies. I don't know. I personally like, uh, I like some of the older movies and I don't like some of the newer movies. Um, so like if they have like say Night at the Roxbury, I'm probably not gonna want to watch it. But like if it's showing Dirty Dancing, I'm like, yeah, I'm there for it. Or Indiana Jones, or well, it depends on the Indiana Jones, because I need to know. Not my favorite. Oh, yeah, I want to know. That was I need to know. Oh, okay. Anyway, her, the line that she needs the knowledge. She wants the knowledge. She has to have the knowledge that the crystal alien people gave her. I mean, can give her. She has to have it. I mean, that part was just kind of lame. It's like the wussy kill of Han Solo. I'm sorry, it's a wussy kill. You don't go and say, "Dad, give me a hug," and then stab him in the back and then throw him. He needs to die in battle. I realize Harrison Ford's probably like 70 something years old, maybe even older than that, but he needs a better kill than that. I actually don't have any idea how old Harrison Ford is. Hold on, I've got to ask. Okay, I thought I was being mean calling him 80. He's 83. I thought that I would get a rude message back by, him or his people saying, "Don't count my years before I get them," something like that. Don't make me sound older than I am, something like that. No, he's 83. That'd be really cool if he made it to 100 too, also, and stuff. Oh, speaking of that, our local movie theater, Galaxy Theaters, is playing Spaceballs on June 23rd and June 28th. And and that Monday, I think. Because Mel Brooks is turning 100 this year. God willing, he'll at least make it to his birthday. He's not ailing or anything, so I think he's going to make it. Well, as far as I know, he's not ailing or anything, so I think he's going to make it. And that would be really cool. Apparently, my sister doesn't like Dick Van Dyke because she saw something where he was saying, it would be really funny if I died one day before I turned 100. Well, obviously, he made it to 100. I don't think that would have been funny at all, but that's because I've seen him as Bert on Mary Poppins and Robert Petrie on the Dick Van Dyke Show, and Um, well, I didn't like his part in Night at the Museum, so I can't actually say that. But, I've seen him in things. So he seems like a nice, decent person in everything except for the Night at the Museum, where he played an evil person. Um, but, well, they kind of had a reason. They kind of had a reason for being evil, but I don't know who that other guy is. But there's Dick Van Dyke, and his name just went out of my head. I knew it a second ago. Mickey Rooney. There's Dick Van Dyke and Mickey Rooney, and then there's the black guy that I don't know his name, and I do apologize for that. Um, but I'm thinking he's probably, he kind of looked like somebody that I should know from something, but like maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, there was the three of them, and they were like evil bad guy people in that movie. Kicking. It's not Ben Affleck because he's AJ. Ben Stiller. Yeah, I think it's Ben Stiller in that movie. Anyway, they were pretty much kicking his butt. Mickey Rooney was just very crabby, evil guy in that one. Like he seemed a little okay. So he seemed a little crabby in um that episode of Full House, season 8 Christmas episode. Um, he seemed very crabby in that one, but he's supposed to be playing a crabby guy. But then he was a nice guy in the end, so it was all good. But um, he was calling um he was calling Jesse uh Brill Cream or something like that, and like Greasehead or something. And I don't think that was one of them, but we'll just say it was for now. Until I can watch that one again. But anyway, he's just calling names. Not too bad, but kicking somebody's butt just because they're taking over your job doesn't seem very nice. Like they should have been able to go and retire and been happy. But that's not their character. Their character is that there's three guys and the museum's not making so much money, so they ended up going down to one guy, and that's Ben Stiller's character. Oh, and if you're wondering, when did Ben Stiller play? I mean, Ben Affleck play AJ? That was on Armageddon. If that's the person I'm thinking of, and I'm pretty sure it is. Um, I can ask my sister. Like I can ask my sister or Google just to make sure, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, we've only gotten some of this done. And like I said, I still got to do, I got to do some gameplay for my sister. And I don't know if I'm going to talk on it this time, though. Because I think if I start talking, that I'm probably going to say too much, and then my sister's going to get upset at me. So I don't want that to happen. I really kind of wish I had control of her Twitch also, but like if I had control of her Twitch, then I could go and post the videos. She was saying, I don't know if I mean, I haven't gotten to posting them yet, and I'm like, they only last for about 7 or 8 days. I couldn't remember how many days at the time, and I still can't remember. But they only last for like 7 or 8 days if you don't publish them. And I don't publish anything. If you didn't see that episode, it's it's a live TV kind of thing. If you didn't see that episode, that's not my fault. You're gonna have to go and watch it on YouTube.
Well, apparently work sent him home. Does that surprise you any?
No, I said he didn't sound great. Is it because he's fired, or is it just because he?
Back Friday.
Okay, so he just sounds like he's sick and don't want to get anybody else sick.
No. I don't know why they sent him home, but he's home.
Well, after I'm done streaming, you gotta call and get the. He got sent home. Father-in-law got sent home from work. We don't know why. So just for just for my curiosity, I want to find out. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna. Well, the problem is that if I don't talk, then I'm just gonna have to keep myself from giving too much information. But anyway, if I don't talk, then if I accidentally do um part of one of the quests, then nobody will be saying the lines. And I was trying to say the lines so bad yesterday, trying to sound like Tiana. I'm pretty good at it for a few seconds, and then all of a sudden it's just like back to normal voice again. Or it starts sounding like one of the other Disney princesses. Like it'll start sounding like Aurora or Snow White. So yesterday I found out that it allowed my sister to do Wish Blossom Ranch also. And I'm kind of hoping that as long as her files on my Xbox, that um, I'm kind of hoping that as long as her files on my Xbox, that that she can play it uh, from her Xbox, even though she doesn't have it. I don't know if it's gonna work, but if it does, cool. But I think they were trying to work a way around that so that kind of stuff can't happen because technically she didn't buy it. She just has it because of my Xbox. So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but um, yeah, lately I don't know is a very big catchphrase for me. It's like I don't know what to say, so I just say I don't know. Uh, anyway. So it's 11:30. I think we ought to quit. We'll get it to this spot right here, or maybe we'll get the barrier blocks down to the corner, and then I don't know. Like we'll get the barrier blocks down to the corner. You know, okay, so like this morning, I was like super emotional. I'm like, we need to take him to the doctor. I don't know, and like just in case. I'm not saying that he's sick and broken and too weak to live or something like that, like he thinks I'm saying. I'm just saying that, when you do something like that, you ought to get checked out by a doctor just to make sure you're okay. But he seems to be thinking that uh, mother in law and I are saying he's, old and frail and too weak to live, and that's not what I am saying. I'm just saying that, because I got mother-in-law's information first, so she made it sound like he had crashed into like, for example, had crashed into the Target building and smashed up the car, and it's totaled and it can't be driven anymore. That's not what happened. So it would definitely help if she would quit over dramatizing things. Oh, we gotta okay. It'd like help if she'd stop over dramatizing things because she didn't see the car. She didn't know um that it wasn't totaled. She just assumed. She okay. So I've got a horrible imagination. If my husband doesn't come home by a certain time and I know he's supposed to, I start thinking that maybe he crashed the car again. He did that a couple of times within uh within like the same year, or maybe it wasn't the same year. Anyway, we don't have the We don't have the Subaru for a reason. And we don't have the Malibu for a reason. And then we got the white truck when we moved here. Or just before we moved here, something like that. And that one we killed. Just drove it to death. so so we ended up getting the blue truck and navy blue truck, and then now we have the one that we have now. So apparently you don't like my voice because you keep putting on stupid stories knowing I'm streaming.
You were supposed to stop streaming half an hour ago.
No, because it says 11
So if down my throat
or
goes, you're
noon.
supposed to watch the last 3 minutes of my video an hour before you started streaming.
Half an hour.
Nuance.
No. There's a big difference between an hour and a half an hour.
Yeah, and I would have been done playing it long before you were starting.
So you decided to be a.
But you decided to be a pain in the neck and tell me to
No,
turn it
you
off
decided to
then.
be a moron and
But you
have
wanted to quit
stories
streaming more
on
then.
while
Call that
yeah,
discipline.
because it is important. You need to take your dad to the doctor. But it's the thing where the guys think that there's nothing wrong, and then isn't it going to be funny? He's going to be in the in the intensive care ward, and it's going to be like, how did he get this bad? It's like, gee, I wonder. You know, because the guys are saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with him. It's just, you know, like this morning. Okay, father-in-law did not sound good. It sounded very growly, like a bear. You know, if a bear could talk and speak English, that's what his voice sounded like. And I'm like, that doesn't sound good, but after my husband said, maybe having some coffee would be a good thing. After he said that, it's like, okay, well, maybe it's just like, when you wake up, you don't always sound like yourself. But yeah, he just got sent home from work, so I don't know. Honey, he just used Jesus as a he took the name of the Lord in vain. Could you not listen to that right now? Put in your safe.
You censor what I put on.
Yeah, when he says stuff like that.
You don't have to listen to whatever the heck you feel like putting on every time you put it on.
Usually I'm putting on my story so I can edit it, and you help me.
Yeah, that really worked well with Point Break.
No, last night I couldn't get myself to concentrate on my story to save my life. You know what? I must have fallen asleep on Point Break because I don't remember seeing the end of it. Yeah. It's the Point Break with Keanu, however you say his name. Because it was Keanu when I was younger, and then now it's Keanu. You don't just go and change your name all of a sudden. Maybe he was just too polite to tell people they're saying it wrong. I don't know. Because they're always saying he's such a nice person. And then he's playing action people that don't sound like, that don't seem like nice people. But, um, Anyway, I'm gonna try to finish this one and then I guess we'll end it. Um, because like I said, I got other stuff to do. I'm gonna try to convince myself to get to page 230 today, if I can, or at least finish the chapter. I'm giving myself an out today, or finish the chapter. I don't know which. Anyway, I just know that sometime today I have to go and do more Star Path stuff for my sister, and on Wednesday, today's Sunday, um, on Wednesday, I'm gonna have to, there's routine duties for the Star Paths now. I mean, that's been a thing for like the last five of them or something like that. Maybe not the last five of them, but anyway, the last few of them. Um, they've got routine duties. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Kind of, kind of breaks it up and makes you feel like you accomplished something because you got all of the duties done and then you just have routine duties. It's nice. So anyway, um, trying to get me and her to have enough moonstones to pay for the star path because we can't buy them. We're too poor for that. Anyway, so that's what I'm gonna be working on today. Her star path. She's got some characters that need to be leveled up to a certain level. I had Lumiere with me yesterday. He was following me everywhere because I had him attached to me. Because I was like trying to do routine duties, but I was also trying to do the thing that he was having me work with. It's they he thinks it's a ghost. He thinks it's a ghost, and then there's I think this is gonna be the one. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this is the one where the um the raccoon from the here and there and the I don't know, it's like the raccoon and the fox or something like that. And they fell in love, but one of them ended up in the here and there, or they both ended up in the here and there, something like that. Anyway, and somehow they came over into Dreamlight Valley and we got to help them get back together. I think that's what this one is. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, it's cute and I liked it. A lot of people were like, I don't like this one. And it's like, well, it wasn't that long. Because what's happened so far is that Lumiere, and I hope I'm not spoiler alerting this for any newer players, but Lumiere came to the valley and he is trying to figure out something that he can do. He's used to running around the castle doing this, doing that, and and I hope Feather Duster comes. I know she was a very minor character. Feather Duster was definitely a very minor character. But that was his love, or at least his girlfriend. I mean, it definitely seemed like they were gonna, if they hadn't been a candelabra and a feather duster, they probably would have given each other kisses. But um, But anyway, yeah. But anyway, you know, that was his love, so they need to bring Feather Duster. Not like before some other characters. Like, there's a lot more characters than just the Disney princesses, Disney. There's Robin Hood. There's um, um, um. Okay, I don't like their storyline, but wouldn't mind having them in the um, wouldn't mind having them in Dreamlight Valley, I guess. Todd and what was it? Fox and the Hound.
something like that.
Todd and Copper or something like that.
Yeah,
I know
Todd and
he's
Copper.
I know he's Opper, but and
Copper. Or Copper, rather.
Copper. Okay, husband saying Copper. He's seen it more than I have because I don't like that one. Especially okay. So the storyline of that one is this lady. She's older. She's got a neighbor who is a big jerk. But anyway, um, she, she's got a neighbor that's a big jerk, and always yelling at her for something because um, at one point in the storyline, anyway, there was a baby fox. There was like a big storm, and there was a baby fox that ended up at her house. So she decided to raise it like a baby, raise it like a pet. And only problem is that foxes aren't used to being indoors all the time, so he was definitely mischievous. Well, um, I don't know how, but he got out when he was little, and he met this puppy, and he goes, "I'm Copper, and I'm gonna grow up and be a big old hound dog," something like that. And anyway, they became friends. So problem is that when Todd is all mischievous, the neighbor gets angry because like maybe Todd's walking around um walking around eating his crops or something like that. I don't remember. Like I said, I've only seen it um like maybe twice in my whole life. Um I didn't like that one. Anyway, and like one of the reasons why I don't like it is because she adopted that fox. That's her baby. And then when he was causing trouble, it was just like throw him away. There was a fox sanctuary, for foxes that had been adopted by people and wouldn't make it in the wild anymore. Um, so she threw him, not through him, but um, sent him there where he met a girl fox played by Sandy Duncan, and and I think he was gonna make friends with her, but there was that problem where he's saying, Mom abandoned me, she just left me here or something like that, and Sandy's like, dude, you're a fox. Okay, so I need to do that, but okay, so this is one. We should come up with 11 again, but I think we're going to end up with a different number again. If we come up with 13, I'm going to be mad. 2, 3. And technically this is 3, but we'll call it 4 because it feels like a different section. So 3 or 4, depending on how you look at it. Um, so 4 or 5. That's where I get confused. So we'll just call this 6. 7. 8. 9. 9. Okay. Yeah, yesterday we were counting 11, so it should have been 10. Got down to 9. Huh? Anyway, so I write books and they are available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. They ship everywhere that Amazon ships to, and they're available for free shipping. So for the hardbacks, Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, and Hard Times are $26 each. Esperanza's Party is $24. The Island is $25. Lessons to Love is $27. Unfortunately, my children's book Coral, where she narrates it, and I took all the pictures in that book, is not available in hardback at this time. Now, for paperback, Coral is $6. Okay, yeah. Okay. Coral is $6 and all the others are $20 each. And then for ebook, Coral is $2.99. Pirate's Daughter and Esperanza's Party are $3.05 each. And all of the others are $5 each. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, Twitch right now, please follow and chat. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Please get those valid public watch hours up. Last I checked, we were at 1,265. Oh, yeah, I forgot the amount was hollow on the inside. It's hollow. I cheated. Anyway, we're at 1,265, and that made my heart happy. It made my heart happy so much. Thank you. And let's please keep up the good work and make our way to 3,000, because that's our next goal. Unfortunately, it's not our last goal. Our last goal will be 4,000. Okay. I don't know why, but my brain's been really unfocused lately. Like getting my brain to, getting Yeah, getting my brain to make my mouth say what it's supposed to say has been a little hard lately. Okay, so um I don't know what I'm gonna do after this. I'm either gonna do some more Star Path stuff for my sister, or I'm gonna work on my story and then do Star Path stuff for my sister. Like maybe work on my story until dinner and then do the Star Path stuff after dinner. I don't know. Still, my phone's gonna be there, and my phone's like, play the game. And I'm like, no, I need to work on my story. But the phone's still saying, play the game. Yeah, it's a word game. I don't even know what it's called. Anyway, it's bugging me because I need my phone for, like if if it turns out that um if it turns out that family is worse off than they're saying they are, or exactly with the other one, exactly how they're saying they are. Um, he's become a doomsayer. It's like, dude, you're still alive. You're okay for now. Oh, if I didn't say it already, um, my sister's dad made it out of his surgery just fine, and he was recovering last I heard. He might be out by now, and she just forgot to tell me. I don't know. But, yeah, if you're that old, I think he's over 60. If you're, I don't mean, I don't mean it like you're old, I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying if you're that age, um, you probably need to recover longer. Or take longer to recover. Like, my mother-in-law was in the, she was in hospice care. Thing is that, when you're in hospice care, they give you food, right? But she's like, this isn't right. This just doesn't taste good, or whatever. It's not cooked the way that I would have cooked it, or something like that. Anyway, being kind of rude. And the guy brought her a hamburger, and she's was still complaining about it. It's like, okay, you're not supposed to have the hamburger, but I'm gonna bring it to you anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't on her approved food list. Although, um, if you ask my father-in-law's doctors, no food is on his approved food list, which doesn't make sense, You're not supposed to have starches, you're not supposed to have bread, you're not supposed to have peanut butter, you're not supposed to have this, you're not supposed to have that. It's like, well, what am I supposed to have? Anything that anything that doesn't fit into one of those categories. But they've already said, like every food in existence. So, Anyway. Oh, you know what? I can't leave you without telling you the rest of that one story. So there's a story on YouTube where where Keanu Reeves is um, eating at McDonald's, and he sees these two little, I think they're black girls. Anyway, and they're begging people for money. He thought at first that it was something else, but he definitely saw them begging for money. So it's like, okay, well, you know, they finally walked outside, and he bought them two Happy Meals, and they got the Happy Meal toy and everything, and um, but I think they weren't eating it at first, and then he's like, it's not poison or something like that, and they chowed down, if I remember correctly. Anyway, but it's like, they were in big trouble. You know, they were in a bad situation besides, being hungry. And, so, the whole story is Keanu Reeves saved them. Um, he saved them, so, but it sounds like one of those that's too good to be true. Not because I don't think that he would save them. It's just because, uh, it just sounded like one of those stories where it's made up, but it sounds really great. So, you know, even if it is fake, it's still, um, it, it's still worth listening to. But, um, he doesn't just go and save them from the bad situation. He goes and, um, I don't remember what he did. Like he gave her a job. Um, like maybe a job in the house, as a maid or something, or maybe it was outside, or maybe she was supposed to go to college. Anyway, the mom. Uh, so technically, I could make this run without any of the redstone, but it runs a little slower, I think. Or maybe what I'll do is just keep working on this, but do the rest of it off camera because I'm like that close. I think if I can get this one done, it takes about 2 hours to run, I think. It's gonna be a long one, but it's fun um, because it's a tour of what I've built. It's an older tour, but it's a tour of what I built, and you get to see fireworks. It's more about the fireworks, but like I just didn't know what to, how to set it up, so no, I didn't know how to set it up, so I was like, you know what would be pretty cool, and I did that. So we've said about the books. We've said about um, Twitch and YouTube. I just want to get these. What? Well, I'm glad I came through here then. There's redstone there. There's redstone there. There's redstone all the way over there. But there was nothing to shoot it off. I was annoying. So yes, um, while I'm trying to fill these in, yesterday we had a late breakfast. It ended up being after stream, and then, um, what we had was hash browns. It was good. For a while there, before my surgery last year, potatoes were starting to upset my stomach. 'Cause I was eating, there. Kind of looks better that way anyway. Um, if they would just make it to where we had, um, every color of concrete in a stair form, I would be really happy. Because it has to be the same exact color though. Like, especially the red for the stairs. There was something I needed. I want to say it was roof, and I was gonna make it totally red. Like the concrete, and I couldn't do it because we don't have red stairs. It was really annoying. Um, but I'm not saying you need to do it or else, like some other people. For specifically Dreamlight Valley, there's a whole bunch of people who are like, you need to do this or else. Like they're talking like they'll stop playing the game if you don't do it, and it's like that's not the thing to do. They're being nice enough to. I mean, they were nice enough to make this game, and a lot of the content is free. There's just some of it that is um, money. You can actually get everything that they have to offer in the game. Um, I mean, not the DLCs, but without paying a dime. I don't go and buy moonstones ever. And that's Dreamlight Valley, just in case you don't know. But anyway, I don't go and buy moonstones or anything. I just wait until it comes on there and I have the moonstones. Now, if somehow, some a bunch of my viewers would start buying my books, and then like maybe all of my viewers would start buying my books, that would be maybe a different subject. But I like to not buy it. Like to not spend the moonstones. I mean, not not spend the moonstones, not buy the moonstones. I'd rather get them in the game. And that's another thing. They've got different bundles. You can get the $5 bundle that doesn't get you very many. It gets you maybe enough to get the Star Path, and that's about it. Um, but they give you 50 free moonstones a day. You know, usually if it's something that important where it's in-game currency, you can't earn it, you have to buy it. And people just don't understand that. Um, anyway, we're trying to get this up to that spot that we were just at, and hopefully we can um here. There. Okay. Hopefully we can get this to where it does not just go off willy-nilly when it feels like. And what was that? Maybe I was stuck on this. I don't know. I don't know what I was stuck on. But I'm thinking that was a... No, this way. Okay. Um, my brain is a big fan of muscle memory, and then it goes and makes stuff up every once in a while. It's like, well, you did this, 6 years ago. Let's do it that way. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it that way. Okay, so, I'm thinking that maybe, um, like taking some of my story stuff and putting it out on YouTube like that, where it's, I don't know how long those stories take though, but, like where it's um, where it's the YouTube story and, somebody wrote it and they wrote a pretty good story, but it's just not quite right. Um, you know, I was thinking that maybe I should start putting my books out like that, you know, where people can hear them and, see if they want to buy them. But then it's like, why buy the milk if you have the cow for free? So I'm conflicted on the idea. Or maybe it'll work the other way where it's like, oh, that was a great story. I wonder if I can get it as a book. So I can hear it again. I mean, so I can read it for myself. Something like that. I've got audio versions of. Hi! Got audio versions of some. You guys settle down first. Settle. Yes! Were you not planning on staying? Could you please move this? I don't know what that is that you're stepping on, but it hurt. Thank you. Sam came to visit again. Um, he does that all the time. He'll just come in and sit on my lap, and he's a good kitty. Okay, so we went down. Oh, when we were coming toward, we were putting that in, and then when we were going back up there, we were, okay, I get it. I was like, why is the other side done? It's like, we just did that. Duh. So, yeah. I think I'm going to continue this off stream. Looks like we're pretty close. We're not totally close, but we're pretty close. Um, there, that's better. Anyway, we're pretty much done. Oh. Yeah, okay. So we're going up there trying to remove the trees, and then we're going to be going that way to, back that way to fix the detector rails. And then I guess we'll be done. Okay. So, I will see you in the next stream or video.